Welcome to Shadowproof. Evidence first, noise last.
The true extent of human scientific and technological development is beyond our imagination. Within the solar system, there exist 8 interstellar combat fleets. Each fleet is composed of space carriers, space fighters, garbage collection ships, research vessels, troop carriers, medical ships, and supply ships. The length of a space carrier can reach up to 2 kilometers, and supply ships are integrated. The length of a space carrier can reach up to 2 kilometers. Using modular design, it can be converted into research vessels, troop carriers, or medical ships. These 8 interstellar combat fleets are part of the Solar System Warden program. And the Solar System Warden program is an important component of the secret space program of the U.S. Navy. One of its main missions consists of 2 parts: military control of our solar system and scientific research. Before alien spacecraft enter the solar system, relevant personnel of the Solar System Warden will guide them to park in a specific square area, then request them to send identification signals. After being permitted to enter the solar system, the Traffic Control Center will send navigation instructions to the alien spacecraft. When performing patrol missions, the solar system is divided into many grid areas. Each grid is further divided into more specific. Once unauthorized spacecraft are detected entering a patrol zone, the Solar System Warden team will expel these spacecraft based on the situation, or even open fire. The Solar System Warden has built many space stations throughout the solar system and nearby star systems. Spacecraft can undergo maintenance and repairs, exchange personnel, or hold meetings here. T mentioned it, you might think it. However, in reality, it comes from Corey Wood's revelations in the Cosmic Disclosure interview program. Corey Wood served for over 20 years as a special operations advisor for the Secret Space program. He is now the main whistleblower for the Secret Space program. Corey Wood was born in Kansas, USA, and it is known that from a young age he had innate prophetic intuition, with an extremely sensitive perception of upcoming events. Able to use consciousness to communicate with others, and even detect through intuition whether others are lying. At the age of 6, Corey Wood was recruited by a secret organization called Mylab, received over 10 years of training, and then served this secret organization. According to Corey Wood's revelations, this Mylab organization specializes in finding and cultivating starseeds for the secret space program. Starseeds refer to souls from the universe, usually carrying some mission to be reborn on Earth. From birth, they possess a special talent, different from ordinary people. Obviously, Corey Wood is a starseed. The content he has revealed is extremely vast, and the Solar System Warden program is just one part of it. On September 24, 2021, Elon Musk posted a photo like this on Twitter, without any accompanying message. The photo was taken by a SpaceX civilian aircraft, captured near low Earth orbit. If observed carefully, you will notice in the upper left corner of the photo, there is a group of 6 unidentified flying objects, shaped like Australian political scientist, famous for cosmic politics, Michael Solis said these unidentified flying objects are spacecraft from the Solar System Warden program. Elon Musk has signed a non-disclosure agreement and cannot directly reveal any information related to extraterrestrials, but can provide clues for people to explore on their own. Could it be that this program, compared to a blockbuster sci-fi movie, the Solar System Warden, is real? When talking about the hacker that gives the US the biggest headache, one cannot fail to mention Gary McKinnon. From February 2001 to March 2002, relying solely on his own abilities, Gary McKinnon hacked into 97 computers of the Johnson Space Center network system of the Pentagon and the U.S. Air Force. The U.S. government stated that McKinnon also forced over 2,000 military computers to shut down for 24 hours, causing direct and indirect losses of $700,000, resulting in the most serious military computer intrusion incident in history. McKinnon was thus dubbed the world's #1 military hacker. Gary McKinnon is British, born in Glasgow, and from a young age was fascinated by extraterrestrial civilizations, and also had exceptional computer skills. In March 2002, he was arrested by police at an apartment in Wood Green, North London. Facing charges from the U.S. government, McKinnon stated that he intruded into the U.S. military computer system only to search for evidence about UFOs. McKinnon believes that the U.S. government has concealed important information related to. In 2008, McKinnon was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. People with Asperger's syndrome often have relatively limited interests, and when overly obsessed with an activity, they misjudge the consequences of their actions, displaying a certain level of social immaturity. This matches McKinnon's personality and behavioral characteristics. In October 2002, McKinnon was charged with 7 high-tech crime offenses in Virginia and New Jersey, USA. Subsequently, the U.S. requested McKinnon's extradition. Finally, after a 10-year legal battle, in December 2012, the Crown Prosecution Service announced McKinnon would not be prosecuted in the UK, and the U.S. extradition plan was also blocked. An important reason McKinnon gave for opposing extradition was he believed he would not receive a fair trial in the U.S. and would face harsher punishment. Since 2006, McKinnon has begun publicly disclosing some classified documents he saw in U.S. military computers, which include the core content of the secret space program, Solar System Watcher Project. This folder contained many high-resolution images of cigar-shaped flying objects. According to McKinnon, there were no rivets on the spacecraft at all. All connections were seamless. Behind the spacecraft was the northern hemisphere of Earth astronaut personnel. It clearly listed the names, positions, and professional fields of personnel serving the extraterrestrial civilization in the Solar System Watcher Project spacecraft. Therefore, to be precise, Gary McKinnon was the first to reveal the Solar System Watcher Project. In NASA's computers, he also discovered 2 document files. One was named RAW, the other Process. Each photo in these 2 files corresponded to each other. The difference was that photos in the RAW file showed things resembling unidentified flying objects, whereas in the Process file, these things had been erased. This matched the disclosure by Donna Hare, a former NASA employee. Donna Hare once worked in NASA's photo. Her job was to process photos of anomalous phenomena outside Earth. Donna Hare said that NASA had an unwritten rule that all photo and video materials had to undergo strict screening before being released to the public. The purpose was to prevent people from seeing some things they shouldn't. It was a photo just like in the movies. I knew she knew, but couldn't tell me. I asked her what she would do with this information. We always had to erase anomalous marks from photos before releasing them to the public. I was really proud that they had a process to develop photos just like in the movies. The 40th President. On September 21, 1987, the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, at the United Nations General Assembly held in New York, gave a speech with words that seemed to overturn the perception of people at that time. In our information, we often forget that we are all members of the same planet. Perhaps we need an external threat to recognize this commonality. I'd often wonder if our world were threatened by an extraterrestrial force, whether we could destroy that threat. And I ask, is there no external threat to us? In fact, President Reagan mentioned such words not just once. In 1985, the United States and the Soviet Union held a summit meeting in Geneva, Switzerland. In front of the then Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev, Reagan also presented a similar idea. According to a 2015 news report, in an interview, Mikhail Gorbachev mentioned that during the 1985 summit meeting, in the midst of negotiations during breaks, he and President Reagan often went out for walks together. At that time, only the 2 presidents and their personal interpreter. For many years, the dialogue between these 2 presidents was kept secret from the public. However, Gorbachev said he could reveal a little. At that time, President Reagan straightforwardly asked him, if the United States were invaded by aliens, could the Soviet Union temporarily set aside Cold War divisions and help the US fight the external enemy? Of course, there is no doubt about that. Me too. Historically, mainstream media only reported that President Reagan was an ardent fan of science fiction. He is considered the president most open on the existence of UFOs and extraterrestrial civilization. But why was Reagan so firmly convinced of the existence of extraterrestrial civilization? As early as the 1980s, President Reagan proposed the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI. It was also referred to by the media as the Star Wars Plan. Public documents show that the core content of this plan is to build a missile defense system, protecting the United States from intercontinental ballistic missiles and other weapons of adversaries. Mainstream media defined this plan as a shield against Soviet missiles. However, many UFO researchers believe that the main purpose of this plan is to counter extraterrestrial forces. According to Corey Goode's revelations, the Solar Warden project can be traced back to the early 1980s at the earliest. The majority of the project's primary funding came from the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI, approved by President Reagan. That is to say, it is very likely that SDI was just a public facade, while in reality, funds were concentrated on the Solar Warden project. In order to combat hostile extraterrestrial forces and a deep state government force, in the early 1950s, some high-level individuals with shared aspirations from different countries jointly established the Earth Alliance. As its name suggests, the Earth Alliance exists to protect Earth and the solar system we depend on. Corey Goode mentions that starting from President Reagan's time, all military-industrial complexes on Earth had merged into an interplanetary corporate conglomerate. Driving the development. Decades ago, our science and technology had already advanced enough to prevent aliens from entering Earth and abducting humans. It has even developed to the point where some extraterrestrial races had to come to the solar system to purchase our. Coincidentally, just as President Reagan was preparing the Star Wars project, on March 30, 1981, he was assassinated. That noon, Reagan also had lunch with union representatives at the Hilton Hotel in the District of Columbia. When leaving the hotel, the assassin John Hinckley Jr., hiding in the crowd, used a .22 caliber revolver to fire 6 shots at President Reagan's bulletproof armor and ricocheted into Reagan. After getting into the car, Reagan felt chest tightness and difficulty breathing, then vomited blood. Fortunately, the bullet entered his lung, 2.5 centimeters away. Survival from the assassination also broke the Every 20 years, a president would die in office. The assassin John Hinckley Jr. was subdued on the spot, because there was a precedent of Kennedy's assassin being killed. The agents piled on top of Hinckley, tightly restraining him to prevent the assassin from committing suicide or being killed by an. It's worth noting that Kennedy John Hinckley Jr. said he had been pursuing Hollywood actress Jodie Foster and planned the assassination to impress his idol. Assassinating the head of a state, if it were in other countries, the assassin's fate would be obvious. However, in the US, the president is also the CEO of a large corporation, and there are many cases where a CEO who doesn't obey, creating a relatively easy excuse, so many people believe John Hinckley Jr. was just a pawn. The real reason Reagan was assassinated was that the deep state wanted to prevent the Solar Warden project from being launched. That's not all. In 2016, top aerospace designer and one of the founding contributors of Solar Warden, William Tompkins, gave an interview for the Project Camelot, revealing even more astonishing information. William Tompkins was born in 1923 in Los Angeles, USA, and grew up in Hollywood. From a young age, he was fascinated by naval warship models. Tompkins' father would take him to Long Beach Harbor whenever he had time. Back then, the Navy allowed civilians to tour warships every weekend. Tompkins excitedly ran around. He could estimate the shape and size of parts on the warships by observing their shadows. As soon as he got home, Tompkins would hurriedly sketch everything he saw into three-dimensional drawings, then use the sketches to create models. He made over 40 different models in total. Tompkins' story quickly caught the attention of a local newspaper. Models were featured in the paper. A Broadway department store on Hollywood Boulevard contacted his father, expressing a desire to display Tompkins. After receiving consent, they allocated a large area in the store. Besides the display case, there was a desk prepared for Tompkins to work on site. And so, Tompkins would go to the department store after school every day. Until one day, some naval officers on leave saw Tompkins' models displayed in a glass case. They couldn't believe their eyes because the models were incredibly realistic. Every detail was depicted with extreme accuracy. Even some classified military components were fully represented in the models. These military officers immediately reported to their superiors. At this point, the situation became quite complicated. Tompkins' father was promptly taken away by the Navy. After 2 days of interrogation, the Navy confirmed that the family were not spies. Afterward, some naval personnel went to the small apartment where the Tompkins family lived and took away all of Tompkins' drawings, which filled about half a room. After studying all the drawings, the Navy finally confirmed that Tompkins was a child with special talent. Subsequently, Tompkins was arranged to attend a special school for 2 years. In 1941, Tompkins was assigned to work at the Vought Aircraft Company while waiting for his security clearance to be approved. In 1942, Tompkins took the oath and underwent naval recruit training, receiving top-secret security clearance. During his time at the Vought Aircraft Company, Tompkins participated in a project to retrofit an extraterrestrial communication system, making it operational for mass production. In 1950, Tompkins and the Douglas Aircraft Company became a specialized design draftsman. The Douglas Aircraft Company was a NASA contractor. Due to his naval credentials, Tompkins was highly valued upon joining and placed in a secret department. Tompkins referred to it as the think tank research. It is known that this department was responsible for all matters related to researching and producing. During his tenure, Tompkins designed a total of 16 to 18 different types of battle-class ships. The largest battle-class ship reached a length of up to 6 kilometers. In the interview, Tompkins disclosed part of his designs. These battle-class ships were constructed at an underground base in Utah in the late 1970s, and were later incorporated into the Solar System Warden project. This means that Tompkins was one of the designers of the Solar System Warden fleet. However, before his designs went into production, in the mid-1960s, Tompkins left the Douglas Aircraft Company and moved to work at TRW. TRW is a leading American aerospace company. The first spacecraft successfully researched and developed by NASA, Pioneer 1, was manufactured by this company. During his time at TRW, Tompkins was responsible for designing a series of critical components used for the Apollo spacecraft. He revealed that the Apollo design was actually divided into 4 phases. Landing on the moon was only the first step. The second phase would involve sending 10,000 people to the moon. The third phase was to build a base on Mars or another planet in the solar system. The fourth phase would expand the base to 12 surrounding galaxies. But as everyone knows, after Apollo 17's final moon landing in 1972, the US government abruptly terminated the Apollo program. The reason given by the government was insufficient funding. Later, American astronaut Donald Pettit revealed that the US no longer has the technology to land on the moon because after 1972, the US government believed that, with the progress of the times, landing on the moon was essentially meaningless, so they destroyed all the documents related to the Apollo program. Such an explanation is truly hard to accept. Tompkins said that, in fact, behind the Apollo program, there are many secrets that others are unaware of. In 1969, when Apollo sent 3 astronauts, including Neil Armstrong, to land on the moon, Tompkins, as a member of the THW delegation, was also present at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. He said that the live broadcast content seen by internal staff contained many things that were not disclosed to the public. The alien chosen scientist. The Apollo 11 lunar module landed in the crater Metroncolitatex. After Armstrong took humanity's first step on the moon, he was stunned by what he saw. Armstrong immediately contacted the ground command center. "Oh my God, you guys wouldn't." Armstrong also used a camera to film the scene around the crater. Of course, this footage was only disclosed to a very limited number of staff, with a high level of secrecy. Based on the scene he witnessed, Tompkins sketched a drawing like this. And the real reason NASA terminated the Apollo program was that the alien forces on the moon ordered the expulsion of humans. One wanted to build a base among the stars, but now, even thinking about it is unnecessary. However, they also indicated that they knew humans still had unfinished missions, so they allowed us to explore a few more times. But that's all. Tompkins' description is identical to the revelations of former U.S. military commander Robert Dean. During the global live broadcast of Apollo 11's moon landing, there were several minutes of lost signal, which once led to significant controversy. It is said that at that time, Armstrong switched the live signal to a personal IT channel. But some radio enthusiasts intercepted a communication recording like this. We will go first. I am not in pain. Pain, okay. And I can see everything very clearly. The reason is, many people don't understand why, after completing the moon landing mission, a hero like Armstrong appeared unusually sad and downcast in the subsequent press conference. But combined with the information revealed by Tom Ken, everything seems to make sense. Tom Ken said that after the Apollo program was terminated, the US government spent nearly a decade completing the first anti-gravity interplanetary fleet, and implemented it during President Reagan's administration in the 1980s, incorporating it into the Solar System Warden project, thus setting the first record for US naval operations in space. Test revelations include many other interesting details. For example, he mentioned that truly top-secret documents would not be marked with a, because such documents are only given to individuals with extremely high security clearance to read. Adding such a stamp would only draw unnecessary attention. Tom Ken also mentioned that human civilization has been influenced by alien forces for at least over 6,000 years. Many things we learn in school are false. In subjects like history, astronomy, mathematics, and physics, there is some misleading information. These are intentionally done by hostile alien forces. The main purpose is to control our thoughts and shape the world into the form they desire. Regarding many details related to Tom Ken's revelations, if you are interested, I will gradually organize them for you in future videos. People can make themselves appear as better individuals. And he said that Trump is not a person. No, he is not. Then that is normal. And he knows more about this issue than people realize. Oh, very good. Please subscribe to the Guian Go channel so you don't miss any exciting videos.
If the proof convinced you, subscribe and open the next case.